How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the new Valve update that they released yesterday for the Steam Deck, the beta software. They released it like kind of in a weird time for me anyway, obviously because it's on American time zones, but they released it at around like 1 a.m. for UK time. So when I woke up this morning and I saw the update, I was kind of freaking out a bit because this is a big one and it is no joke. As I put in our little community thing earlier, yeah, it's really no joke. And let me just show you what it basically means in gameplay terms. So I'm running Witcher 3 at the minute, and as you can see, the UI is getting in the way of the statistics here, but we're basically running at 50 FPS here. It's pulling 25 watt at the minute, so we've got no TDP limit here, and it's never going to be that... It's smooth, don't get me wrong, it's okay, but it's never going to be like that smooth. There's going to be a few jittery frame pacing issues and stuff like that because we've got our refresh rate on the monitor, the screen, set to 60, and it's only hitting 50. So what this new update from the beta software includes, so 50 FPS is what we're hitting at the moment. If we drop our refresh rate of the whole display down to 50, so now the system basically thinks that we've got a 50 Hertz monitor setup. And what that means is when we're playing the games that have us locked at 50 now, it's going to feel way smoother, the gameplay is, compared to it jumping around from 50 to 60 when we've got a 60 Hertz screen. As you can see, it automatically feels extremely smooth, way smoother, because you've got no jitters, you've got no frame pacing issues because it is literally locked at 50. And it's for games like The Witcher 3, them harder to run titles that we're going to be using this for. So I want to just give a few examples in today's video. As soon as I saw the update, I switched over to the beta because I wasn't originally on the beta because I didn't want to run into any massive issues. But it's been fine so far. I kind of wanted to jump into GTA 5 because although I do predominantly hit 60 FPS on GTA 5, it's the city area where it dips down for me and it causes some like weird stutters. So what I did was set it to 50 FPS and then it was smooth, completely smooth in the city, nighttime, daytime, anytime. And this is way more preferable than just hoping to get 60 and having to deal with the micro stutters. So yeah, let me just mess around with TDP now because this is unlocked. Obviously, we're not using a specific TDP. So what you can then do with the refresh rate adjustments is if we drop this to 40, a little bit less smooth than 50, but still smoother than 30, we can then adjust our TDP to keeping an eye on the FPS to kind of like get a sweet spot between 40, so it's where it's hitting 40 constantly, but also because we're using the 8 watt layout, we're going to be getting better battery life. So it's not hitting 40 there, we're hitting 38, so let's go up to 9. And yeah, it's a little bit of a hassle, you're going to have to do this and like adjust it, but because I like tweaking things, it's not a massive issue to me. But in the future, we're really hoping Valve to add in the ability to set custom TDPs for each game you're playing, so you only have to do this once and then it automatically recognises what game you're playing. So as you can see, we're now at 40, it's locked 40 here, no more dips, but because it's locked 40, we're only having to run at 9 watt, which means much better battery life, and it's smoother than 30, so we've automatically just jumped up to 2 hours battery life there. And yeah, it's way smoother than 30. It's weird how much smoother 40 feels to 30. But yeah, this is an awesome update, and like I did not expect them to be releasing something so soon after the lock screen and achievement update with all the little tweaks they put in there as well. But man, like I keep saying, Valve it's like Christmas every weekend with these updates. It's really, really awesome to see what they've got coming out. So that's The Witcher 3. As you can hear, I don't know if you can hear, that's the point. There's literally zero sound coming from my fan right now. If I put my ear up to it, it's very quiet. Let me just turn the sound down, put it towards my mic. I don't know if that's even picking anything up, but it's extremely quiet. Like they've adjusted the fan curve in this beta so the fan is no longer ramping up to 100% every time you're draining the TDP, or the putting a lot of stress on the graphics chip. Basically means that it kind of defeats the whine that we had from our fans that we were experiencing, and it's just much more pleasant to play at night time. You know, if you're playing next to somebody that is very sensitive to noise, the new update is very great. It's pretty insane how I managed to keep like decent thermals whilst also not hearing the fan at all, because before this update I was hearing the fan ramp up like as soon as you get into game. It even ramped up during the as you was browsing the library, it ramped up. So yeah, if you guys have a Steam Deck and not in the beta because you're worried about it might break something, you can change back if you encounter any issues, but get in the beta, because this update is probably the best thing they've brought out for the system. So let's jump into another game. We'll test it out and we'll see what we can mess about with in terms of refresh rate. Thought we'd have a look at Dying Light 2, because this game can take some power out of your system. Like, it will drain your battery in a good hour and 20 minutes if you play it at like highest wattage, trying to get 60. And after this update came out, it's really not necessary to hit 60 anymore, because it's surprising how smooth it actually feels playing at 1450. So let me just show you what I've got running at the moment. No fan noise at all in this game, by the way. Another game that was blasting the fan when I played it for the first time. It might have even shown in my original video on this game, but yeah, it's actually quite crazy. So what I found the best setting for this game was if we set a refresh rate of 50, and then we obviously then compensate our TDP to hit 50. I think 9 TDP was a decent amount of TDP for the game. As you can see, buttery smooth. You can see that, right? It's a lot smoother than 30, 100% smoother than 30. It basically feels 60. I mean, like, it's very, very similar to 60, but what this setting enables us to do, not only does the game look absolutely amazing, it gives us a nice 2 hours and 25 minutes of battery life on, what battery are we running here? 77%. So I mean, the battery is going down a little bit, but it'll get its bearings a little bit. Holy shit, I didn't realise there was that many zombies behind me. Right, yeah, so basically, you're going to be getting, let's say, at least 2 hours of battery life. It's kind of settled at 2 hours, 10 minutes, but yeah, we're running at around 15 watts in total, so that's 9 watt for the game, and then some for the system, etc. So there's literally zero fan noise. So that's thanks to the new update. If you put your head to the fan, you can hear it. Like, it's still on, obviously. It's not just been fully turned off, but in fact, I might as well show you what kind of thermals we're running at the minute. So pretty nice thermals, 60 Celsius on the CPU and GPU. It kind of makes me wonder why they didn't sort the fan curve out in the first place. Because, like, this is way nicer than having that fan blare at 100% all the time, especially us unfortunate users that got the wrong fans, or the worst fans. So yeah, this update just overall makes the device a much more pleasant experience. So yeah, like I said, we're basically running at 50 FPS at 9 watt. I'm getting 2 hours 20 minutes of battery life, no fan noise. It basically makes AAA gaming much more of an ideal thing to play on this. Someone asked me in the comment, what does half rate shading do? Some guy hit the nail on the head with it pretty much. So it decreases the visual look of a game, but in return gives you slightly more battery life. Doesn't actually give you like tons more battery life, depending on the game, but yeah, it slightly decreases the look of the game at the cost of the performance of the game and the battery life. So you get better performance for a lower wattage, and yeah, it doesn't massively make the game look terrible. It just kind of removes some of like the sharp edges, and the textures look a bit more blurry. So that's kind of what half rate shading does. But the fact that you can experiment with these kind of things, it's like, it's there to just be turned on and off. So you can try it out in every game. It's pretty sick just to have it there, you know. But yeah, like I said, the main thing I wanted to talk about was this new update. And as you can see, I mean, I haven't really got into any massive fights. So let's just start fighting some zombies. As you can see, the frame is I'm pretty much a solid 50 here. And the fact, there you go. So we're not dropping at all. It's buttery smooth. It's funny because I jumped onto this on my Switch a couple of days ago just to compare between the Switch and this, and there's no comparison. I mean, not only does the Switch version run at 30, but it also looks pretty bad due to the resolution that they're having to run it at to get a solid 30. But yeah, I'm pretty gobsmacked at how well this this update is running games at now that we can lock the refresh rate of the screen down. Oof. It's like smashing watermelons. I do need to get on Dying Light 2 though. That'll be the next game I buy and test out on the system. That will be interesting to mess about with this variable refresh rate we can switch around. So yeah, I think I'll show off one more game with the and you could probably get a best idea from it. But yeah, I just want to show this off as much as possible because it's definitely something you should be taking advantage of. So I thought the last game we could check out is GTA 5 because I've noticed a lot of in-game changes in the demand for power. And so if we go from like nighttime, which is very like low demand for like TDP, to like daytime in the main city area, which requires a lot more power, this locked 50 is extremely useful. Because what I find when I'm driving through the city in the daytime, as opposed to a nighttime, it's way more laggy and stuttery. Obviously, because I'm not getting a locked 60 like I am at the nighttime. But if we keep the refresh rate on 50, it's solid no matter what time of day it is in the game. So it just gives you a much nicer experience. So at the moment, we're running the same settings as the last game we played, Dying Light. So if I adjust this to something where we can get a solid 50, a solid 50 FPS at a lower wattage, we can get a better battery life. You know the score by now, but it's all about tweaking, which is why I keep wanting to mention the fact that we need to get it per game basis, because although I don't mind changing this, it would make it so much easier if you're swapping between games all the time. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much daytime. We're driving through one of the busy areas of the game at 7 watt. I think it was 7 watt, maybe it was 8. We'll have a look. 7 watt, yeah. So as you can see, we've got a locked 50. Just as I said that, it dropped a little bit. So you might want to put this up to 8. But as soon as you get the right amount of wattage down, then you'd be fine. But as you can see, we're getting about 2 hours of battery life here at a locked 50. And it just feels super smooth. Like, because this is a third-person game, it just feels like it feels like 60 because of, well, I mean, it's a 10 FPS difference, but because it's a locked 50, it's way more smoother than a variable like 60. You're hopping between 50 and 60 depending on what area you're in. So yeah, like I say, this is a great update from Valve. Can't wait to see what else they bring out. So this is dipping a little bit. I mean, you could set this TDP off and then you'd be fine, but it's going to draw way more power because it's just going to keep trying to up the power to depending on the scenario that you're in game. So I just like to keep it locked on a certain number, and if it dips in a small area of the game, it doesn't massively bother me because I know that I'm only going to be in the area for like a second. So if I'm driving through a tunnel on GTA, I'm only going to be driving through it for like a minute at most, 30 seconds pretty much, and then I'm out and I'm back at 50 again. So yeah, and I'm back locked at 50 again. So yeah, and we'll do a fan test. I don't know if you can even hear that. but there's a slight noise. You have to put your head right up to the fan to even be able to tell that there's a noise coming out of it. But yeah, the thermals are looking fine. It's not like they're going past 70. So they've managed to get a fan curve, which is good for the thermals, but also great for the people playing, because the fan was very annoying, as I keep saying. But let's just save this woman's money. Let's just get this guy. Ooh. Didn't really mean to run over his head, but I mean, we got the woman's money back, so alright. But yeah, this video was really kind of just to show off the new capabilities of the deck. I'll always keep updating you guys on the newest updates on the system, so if we get anything in the next couple of weeks, keep an eye on my channel. I do plan on doing a Wii emulation video. This kind of overthrew the Wii emulation video because of how amazing this update was. But yeah, expect a Wii video tomorrow. I'm going to be looking at some Super Mario Galaxy 2. Hopefully Nintendo don't come for me. We'll have to find out and see on that one. But they normally seem to be only going for Switch games, so we'll see. There you go, guys. It's the new update. Rocks. Valve doing an amazing job as usual. There you go. And I also haven't got any more issues with my joystick, so that seems to be okay for now. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll speak to you guys soon.